So I wasn't born or raised in the church. I never went to church on Sundays. I never stepped foot into a church until my 8th grade year. And it wasn't until my ninth grade year in high school that I accepted Christ, and it was on a mission trip down in Mexicali, Mexico. And I was really passionate about missions, so I went on several more trips down to Mexico with First the Kingdom. I went on a trip to Haiti with Jim Britz and Rachel Britz and some other people back after the earthquakes. And last summer I had the opportunity to go to Cambodia with an organization called World Team. And getting the call that I had received a yes on my internship to go to Cambodia, it was beyond my wildest dreams to think that I was going to spend 6 weeks in Cambodia. And so last summer I found myself in the middle of Cambodia, and every expectation I had was completely wiped off the board when I got there. It was one of the hardest summers of my life. Typically I'm your positive, go get them, happy, optimistic person. And that was not the Remy that was portrayed last summer. I was overcome with, negativity and bitterness. Things that were supposed to happen didn't end up happening. We were forced to do things that we weren't prepared for, and it got to me. I don't know if many of you know the history of Cambodia, but only a couple of decades ago, a brutal regime called the Khmer Rouge took over the country and wiped out just mass genocide. And it's just a dark place. Less than 2% of the people know the name of Christ. Satan really has his grip on this country. So I found myself in the middle of this country, so negative and just in pain. I can't even explain the emotions that I felt while I was there. There were some times that all I could do was lay in bed and cry because I had no other way to let my emotions out. It was just a weight on my chest. And so one morning I got on my bike and I rode down to this coffee shop. And while I was writing, I kept hearing, "Oh, you of little faith, why have you doubted me? Oh, you of little faith, why have you doubted me? Oh, you of little faith, why have you doubted me?" Over and over again. And I was kind of upset. I was like, "God, what are you talking about? Little faith? Like, I'm in the middle of Cambodia, sweating my butt off right now." And so I got to the coffee shop and I looked up that verse, and it's the verse of Peter walking on the water. And I realized Peter had the initial faith to step out of the boat. You didn't see any of the other disciples call out to Jesus to have him walk on water. He took that initial step out of the boat, but when he saw the waves around him in the storm, he lost sight of Christ and he began to sink. He became focused on the storm around him. That was the same thing that happened to me. I got to Cambodia. I took that step of faith out of my comfort zone. It was, 100 degrees outside with all this humidity. No one spoke the language. I was sick all the time from the food. I took that step of faith, but then everything around me started going wrong and getting crazy, and I lost sight of what I was there for, and I began to sink. But the coolest part about that story is Jesus doesn't walk over to Peter and say, "You got yourself there, now get yourself out." No, he reached down his hand, and he grabbed Peter and he pulled him out and he walked him back to the boat together. And I just want to let you know that God's love is so redeeming. No matter how far down you get, no matter how far you sink, if you're up to your neck in water, God will always be there to reach down and pull you up. And I would like to say that day, everything miraculously changed, but that wasn't the case. It doesn't get easier from there. But I had my sights refocused on Christ. I was able to refocus my mind and refocus my heart and realize that all these things going on around me, it may not be fun and it may be kind of sucky at times, but I'm there to serve Christ, to be his love to these people. And that's God's love for us. He is always there. He will never let you sink below that water if you just let him lift you out.